Hello everyone and welcome to another special previews and predictions episode ahead of this weekend's IndyCar season opener from St. Petersburg. Yes, IndyCar is back, and joining me to talk about a little bit about what we can expect this weekend and over the course of the season is our Motorsport.com editor-in-chief, Charles Bradley. Charles, great to have you on our show as always. What have we learned from spring training? How do those results translate to the season ahead? And the big money question, can anyone match Scott Dixon and Chip Ganassi this year?
Well, testing, so just like Formula One, you can't read everything into it. Obviously, Colton Herta was super quick, but we questioned whether his car was running 100% legal. Alex Rossi was quick as well, and I think he's going to be a big title contender this year. So I think we've got a lot to look forward to. It's one of my favourite championships, just because of the variety of circuits that they race on, you know, from the street tracks of St. Pete this weekend, all the way up to the big ovals like in Indy. And it's also one of the most, dangerous series as well. When you think about the high speeds they race at on those oval tracks, it can really be quite dicey, as we saw last year with Robert Wickens. So,
an unfortunate incident there.
Indeed.
It'll be interesting to see how the rookies do this year. I mean, two rookies that I'm really looking forward to see race this weekend are Marcus Ericsson, fresh out of Sauber, and Felix Rosenqvist at Chip Ganassi, replacing Ed Jones, who endured a difficult 2018 season. Charles, how do you think they'll do in IndyCar racing? I mean, Felix certainly looked very quick in testing.
Yeah, I think they'll both really stand out this year. As you say, Felix super quick in testing. He's got an immense teammate in Scott Dixon, so he's got a lot of talent to draw on there. I think he's in the right place at Ganassi. Going to Marcus, I mean, I think he did pretty well in his last year at Sauber up against Charles Leclerc. Just qualifying, let him down. If he just got his qualifying game together on Saturday a bit better, I think he would have scored a lot more points than he did. Again, I think he's in a good place. I think Arrow, Peterson Motorsports, really good team. Obviously, it's sad the circumstances. He's replacing Robert Wickens effectively, and hopefully we'll see him back in a car sometime soon. But yeah, I think he's going to take a little bit of time to get to grips. Certainly on the ovals, they're going to be a bit daunting for him at first, but I think he will get there. I think we'll see some top sixes sooner rather than later.
Another driver that was very quick in testing and had a very good season last year was Alexander Rossi. He grabbed the championship lead on the third race in Long Beach, had 3 wins throughout the season, finished second in the standings. I mean, a definite championship contender to keep an eye on.
Absolutely. I mean, his second season in the category, really excelled last year. Just choked slightly in the final race, but he was up against Scott Dixon, so it's really difficult to execute that final round to clinch a title. Yes, I think we're going to see more of the same from him this year. I think he's sort of taken that team leader mantle at Andretti Autosport over Ryan Hunter-Reay.
Yeah.
So again, I think he's going to be very strong this year, but it's going to be an epic battle because it's always Penske versus Ganassi versus Andretti. Right. So we've got these 3 big powerhouse teams, obviously 2 engine manufacturers as well. So there's going to be so much to look forward to, so much competition at the front.
Yeah. And like you said, speaking of championship contenders, you can never quite rule out the Penske boys, can you? With Will Power, Joseph Newgarden, and Simon Pagenaud, who finished a very respectable 3rd, 5th, and 6th in the standings last year. How do you rate their chances this season?
Well, you always expect excellence with Rogers' teams, and that's exactly what you get. And he's got 3 standout drivers there. Pagenaud really didn't get on with a new car last year. Really struggled compared to how he was able to excel in the previous iteration. And then yes, Will Power, he's just Mr. Dependable. He's always there, always at the front of races. And obviously Joseph came along and was the bright new star. He had a little bit of a tricky season last year, so he'll want to get right back on that sort of winning wagon and push the other guys really hard as well.
Yeah. Quick mention about the Indianapolis 500 this year. Of course, one of the big headlines being Fernando Alonso making his 2nd attempt at the legendary race, sporting the new number 66, the number with which McLaren won their first Indy 500 race with Mark Donohue back in 1972. Charles, another money question. Can he pull it off this year?
Yeah, it's a big ask. I mean, he did so well that first effort, didn't he, with Andretti Autosport. It's a little bit different this year because McLaren have kind of almost taken the project in-house. The cars are actually in Woking at the moment, being prepared just for that one race. Carlin are going to run the car actually, on the track across the month of May. Yeah, wherever Alonso goes, headlines follow, and he's there for one reason, to win it.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
he will push heaven and earth to make it happen. Interesting that he's got a Chevy engine this year rather than the Honda. That could play into his advantage because the Honda sort of lacks a little bit on the top end power for an oval track. It's probably better than the Chevy for this weekend at St. Pete on the sort of slow medium corners, but on the high speed I think Chevrolet might have an edge, so I think he's going to be there or thereabouts. But yeah, I'd never rule him out, put it that way.
Never rule Fernando Alonso out. Well, Charles, let's go to our predictions. The standings right now are 5 points for you, 1 point for me, so I've got some catching up to do there. But let me kick us off. I'm going to go with Alexander Rossi winning the St. Petersburg Grand Prix. He's proven he's a front runner. He's consistently quick. He said he should have won the race last year, and I think he's got a lot to prove this time.
Yeah, he didn't win it because he had that clash with Robert Wickens, and Bourdais was able to jump in, and Graham Rahal as well. I'm going to go for his teammate then. I'm going to go for Ryan Hunter-Reay. It's been a while since he won the championship back in 2012. He needs to re-establish himself at that team, and where better to do it than the first round of the season.
Absolutely. Well, let the best man win. Charles, thank you for joining us as always. That's it for today's Motorsport Report. I'm Julia Piquet, and we'll see you next time.